Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I'm going to refresh my group, my Facebook page over here. Make sure we can all see me because let's see, everybody is here to see me. So if you can't see me, then I guess I'm in the wrong place. What's going on? Come on. Pull this up here. Yeah. Oh, hold on. This is wrong. All right, we're just gonna go with it. It says your next big move. We talked about that last week. Someone on the team has forgotten to change the little note about what we're talking about. I don't want to point any fingers, but somebody did. Anyway, welcome in. Hope you're seeing us. Hope you're with us. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a little different. We did a Q&A before, and we'll do those, once every couple months probably, just to make sure that I'm trying to stay engaged with you all and make sure I'm actually helpful rather than just being here spewing nonsense. And I feel like Q&As are a great way to do that because you get to set the structure and framework that we cover, right? And so we'll do those. This one today, though, is a little bit different. It's got some Q&A. It's got some interaction involvement. Obviously, we'll talk about that. We'll get into it. But I've got a little bit to give you up front as we kind of parse through some of this. And then, of course, I'm going to just turn it over and ask you to drop a comment in there, and we'll get to it. But it's only 1 minute into it, so we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We usually have to kind of shoot the shit for a little bit, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. As the slow pokes roll in, I can see more and more. The number next to the eyeball is going up, which tells me that there are millions, maybe billions of people watching from around the world. Good for you for being here. What's up, Joan? In Bakersfield. Whoops. CA, everyone. Yep. And Rose, hello. Where are you coming from, Rose? Where are you at? Paul, Arduin? I never know how to say your name out loud, so I never do. I just call you Paul. Milwaukee. Randall is in hurricane territory, and looks like, you said you survived. That's good. I had assumed you died in the hurricane. I'm just kidding. I didn't assume that. But I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you guys are okay. Yeah, it looked like it was coming pretty close, crawling up the coast, or crawling, I guess, kind of down the coast almost, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't know how hurricanes work. I live in Colorado. We don't have as many oceans as you guys, so we're a little safer from hurricanes. Because I chose a place to live that is safe from natural disasters. We don't have any of them. I do have a house in Hawaii. There's volcanoes like in my backyard, but what's up, Ben? Robin is Paul from Milwaukee. Hello, Robin, Paul from Milwaukee. Where are you coming from, Ben? Let us know where you at. Ardoin. Oh, it's French. That's why I can't pronounce it. That's ugh. Sorry, nothing against you. It's just French people. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. We're talking about some stickiness, and this is hopefully going to give you. I'm going to give a framework because it's me. I was going to give a framework, right? Ben's from Raleigh. I love Raleigh. My grandparents used to live outside of Raleigh. A cool house. I have great memories in that little house. Rose is up in Seattle. Seattle's a cool place. Been there a couple times, and we did a training course in Vashon Island, off the coast of Seattle. So we got into town just a few times, but it was fun. It was a good area up there. Most of the people are nice. I'm sure you're great. Some of them are. I like Colorado. Anyway, sorry, getting off topic here. We got some more people rolling in. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for looking at my ugly mug. I got my Book Career Blue t-shirt on and all my stress pimples. So that means we're ready to go. That means we are live. We're ready to go. Randall, when I was a medic, the rule was if it's wet and sticky and not yours, don't touch it. That's a good, I can't help myself though. That's the problem. We're going to talk about stickiness today. We're going to talk about getting unstuck, hopefully. Now, I don't have any expectation that I'm going to be able to solve all your problems and maybe not even solve one of them. But what I want to give you the opportunity to do is to, talk through some of this stuff, to maybe feel through some of this stuff. We're all stuck in certain ways, in certain areas, and I'll define what I mean by that. Don't worry. But by processing through it, this is therapy, right? It's group therapy, but like processing through it out loud, a lot of times we can unpack maybe some deeper motivation behind why we feel stuck. And I'm not saying that you're wrong about why you're stuck, but a lot of times we haven't really done the work to unpack why we're stuck. And so I'm going to do that with you. Obviously, I can only talk about book stuff. You don't want me to help you unpack, your issues with your teenage son. Like I'm not that guy, right? I don't know how to do anything well, except for this thing called selling books. And even then, I'm stuck in certain areas, and I'll share some of those as we go. If you're just joining us now, thanks for being here. This is the live stream that we do every week. It is totally free. I rarely try to sell anybody anything. I'm not going to say never, but I don't have anything to sell. So if you don't know who I am, you're in luck because this is going to be the best day of your life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Nick, and you can find me on the internet all over the place. This is the home of Book Career in a Year. So if you're watching in the Facebook group specifically, you're in the right place. The reason you're in the right place is I'm watching myself on a delay. It's super weird. Talk to you, and I can see the comments 4 at a time only because Facebook is amazing like that. Which I'm realizing now that might be a little less helpful once we get going. But anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll get going as we need to. Maybe I'll copy. That's what I'll do. I'll copy paste as they come in. So you'll have to bear with me on that. But welcome in. Thank you. Join the group. Okay. Get in here. Get involved. This isn't like other groups. I'm not going to name any names, but not because it's my group, but because it's not like any other group. The people in this group, myself included, are here to both get help from and to help the community. All right. And when I say community, I mean you. I mean indie authors, people who do this for a living. People who want to do this for a living. I started Book Career in a Year on accident because I wanted a way to organize all the nonfiction crap I was doing. That was it. I just wanted, got in a car accident, saw my life flash before my eyes, not even kidding, and everything changed. And I don't wish that kind of thing upon anyone, but you certainly use it when it happens. Am I right? Amen. Can I get an amen on a Sunday? Not on a Sunday. What day is it? It's been 84 years. Anywhom, listen. Book Career in a Year started on accident because I wanted to organize this stuff. It became more than just a dumping ground of all the stuff I was working on. It became a place where I realized could be a home for people who want to take this thing seriously, called making a career out of writing fiction. Okay, commercial genre fiction is what we're talking about. And so everything that we do here in the live streams is kind of related to that or adjacent to it. So you may hear me go spew off stuff about being physically active. Guess what? That directly affects your author career. And I don't mean indirectly, I mean directly. We'll talk about that a little bit. Gentry says, amen. Yeah, Thirsty Thursday. That's right, buddy. I've got a date with, look, you can see this? Check this out. So I don't usually stand up and show you my pants, but I'm wearing them today, so that's cool. Can you see those? I'm in my swimsuit here because I have a hot date at a pool right after this. Yeah, look, you can see it. Okay, cool. Good. I was worried you're just going to see mine upper body. It is Thirsty Thursday. I'm going to go dive in the deep end and swim a little bit right after this. But what was I talking about? Book Career in a Year became a brand, a company that is growing respectfully quickly, and because I believe it scratched an itch that a lot of us are feeling, which is there are places we can go ask questions, and there are places we can go, dive deep into previous posts or comments or articles or whatever the thing is, and get maybe some insight. But there wasn't a place that I felt I could really just interact with people like me who want to write books for a living. Regardless of what level they were on, I wanted a place that I could really go back and forth with someone and truly engage. And I know I don't get on there as often right now because it's summertime, and I should just never, ever, ever try to do any projects in the summertime for the rest of my life because that's how summers work. But look, when this thing first started, and now that the girls are back in school and I'm kind of back on non-summer schedule, I'm going to be diving deep with this stuff, guys, and I want you to be as well. You don't need my permission to do that. This is a group. It's Facebook. There are no admins. I mean, it's me and then a couple other people, but we don't do anything as far as admin stuff goes. We just let people in and talk. You're big boys, you're big girls. You can figure out how to have respectful conversations and all that. So we're not going to do any of that crap where we, kick you out because you asked a question the wrong way or, self-promote or whatever. Do whatever you want. You want to self-promote your book? You figure out how the best way to do that and ask for help, and you'll probably get some. Anyway, that's my spiel. We're going to talk about getting unstuck today. What I've done is I've asked you all to answer some questions. Let me scroll down. I'll ask them again here. Before you answer them, I mean, you can drop them in the comments, and I'll try to copy paste them over. So go ahead and answer, I guess. But before I answer them about how to get unstuck live, I want to give you a framework because again, it's me, and I always have a framework for you. But it's really cool and pretty serendipitous. I started reading a book. I'll show it to you. It's right here. That I think is going to really help me unpack some of this stuff as well. And I didn't realize it was connected. I wrote up this whole thing about getting unstuck last night, and then I realized, hey, this book is actually talking about some of the same stuff in a different way. So I'll give you that because I think it's a great framework. Here are the questions I want you to answer. And literally copy and paste these in the comments of this video. So not the one where I asked the question, but this video, drop them here so I can see it live. First question, where do I want to be in my author career 1 year from now? Not me, like Nick. I've already asked it. You answer for yourself. Where do you, author, Randall, Robin, Joan, where do you want to be 1 year from now in your author career specifically? Like I said, I can't help you with your teenage son, but I can help you get through author career stuff abso-freaking-lutely, and I want to do it. Number two, what's worked well in the past? And I guess the tack on is to get to where you are in your author career. So what have you done for your author career that's worked well for you? And then three, what do you think is holding you back? And I want you to be specific, okay? Be detailed, thorough. I want paragraphs. I want freaking high school essays here, folks. Whatever you want to do, you can be vague if you want. But look, it's going to be really helpful if you give me more. Because this isn't a video back and forth where you're going to have a mic and all that, so I won't be able to see you and kind of actually interact with you. You just have to give me a little bit more. I'm going to try to do this while I'm talking. I've got a couple here. Paul answered. Lynn answered. Did three. I only see one question from each of you guys. Maybe you're doing one at a time. That's okay. Listen, here's the framework. So I started reading this book, Limitless. Y'all see that? Jim Quick, he's like a brain guy, right? He had a brain injury as a kid, and all his life believed that he could not be as smart as he wanted to be. Okay, I've just started this book. It's very good. I do recommend it. But one of the things I realized as I was thinking about getting unstuck was a lot of times we're stuck in more than one area. At least one area. Sorry, like I said, I'm trying to copy paste here. There's Lynn's second answer. We're usually stuck in one or more area. Sometimes all three, but a lot of times it's just one area that we really haven't taken the time to unpack properly. And what I want to do is give you this framework because I stole it from Jim Quick. It was very good. And what I've realized is that this totally works for what we're talking about as authors. Okay. One more. Let me grab Dreaming Truth. Welcome in. I'm going to copy paste your thing so we can hopefully get there. Okay. So here's the framework. He's given us this framework that is very helpful. It's 3 M's. Like most good frameworks, it starts with M, or it starts with the same letter, alliteration. And where's that? All right. Okay, I'm done. I think I got everything. Okay, sorry. So the 3 M's: mindset, motivation, and methods. All right. If you're taking notes, if you're following along at home, mindset, motivation, method. Usually when we're stuck, it's in one of these areas, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit, like a sentence about each one of these so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to give you an example from my own life about how I have been stuck or am stuck now, because I ain't perfect. I know you guys think I am, but I'm not. Just look really good. So here's the 3 areas. That's a lie. Sorry. 3 areas that we're usually stuck in, at least one of these areas. The mindset area, this is a big one. I talk about this a lot. We entertain a low belief of ourselves, like our capabilities, right? We entertain a low, basically the self-belief thing here, right? Let me write Robin right here. There we go. And then I see Wes. You got one in here too. Sorry, guys. This is probably a better way to do this if I would have thought it through, but I don't like to think things through. It's no fun. There we go. Perfect. Okay. The mindset shift that we need to be making is how to unpack that self-belief and kind of turn it on its head, right? Because the mindset stickiness that we're in is that we entertain a low belief of ourselves. We just don't believe that we can do something or that we deserve something, which is a crazy, crazy word. For me, mine is very simple. I grew up middle class, upper middle class, right? Had a great childhood, great family, great neighborhood. All that stuff was true. I had a little rough middle school, but for another time. Nothing that I could complain about, right? I had everything not handed to me on a silver platter, certainly. I wasn't rich, but I wasn't starving. I wasn't homeless, wasn't on the streets. I had a good life. I was middle class, solidly upper middle class. And the problem with that is I don't want to be upper middle class right now. I want to be rich. And I don't mean that in a, tongue-in-cheek way. I mean, there's no reason I shouldn't be making $1 million a year from writing fiction. Okay? Now, I'm not making that, but there's no reason I shouldn't be, right? Is there? I mean, I've got 40-something thriller novels out, and some of them are bestsellers, and I know how to do this, and I have readers that like me. I have 100,000 people on my mailing list. Like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to make any number of money that I want to make. And I'm not saying that our careers are just about the amount of money we make. On the contrary, that's a very small part of it. But I'm giving you an example of a mindset shift I've been trying to break. And that is why I don't deserve to be anything more than or better than or higher than this middle class lifestyle. Okay? I'm giving you I'm being real personal here, okay? And I don't want you to think that I'm telling you what you should feel about this thing, but there's a mindset stuckness that you probably have about what you believe you deserve, what you believe you're capable of, and just generally of yourself, who you believe you are, identity. The second M in the framework that Jim gave us is motivation, the why. We'll talk about that in a second, but this is the lack of drive, purpose, sometimes energy, right? So our productivity is not where we want it to be. A lot of times it's a motivational issue. It's something broken in our motivation around why we're stuck. Okay. My example here is health. And, I talk about this all the time because I'm like a health nerd now. And that doesn't mean I never eat French fries. I eat them like every day if I can. I was just talking about French fries and potatoes with Robin because I love potatoes and all the potato-shaped objects and everything. Anyway, the point is, I was unhealthy for most of my adult life. I believed I was healthy because of the way I looked. And I thought, well, hey, this guy looks good, whatever. Could stand to lose a little around the middle, right? But you know what? He's all right. And I would go to the doctor. They'd be like, yeah, you're in your 20s, your early 30s, like you're fine. You're going to be all right. And because that's not what doctors are supposed to do. They're just supposed to make sure you're not dying right away and then, give you a pill or whatever and kick you out. I believed I was healthy. And then I got some blood work. Turns out I wasn't. Turns out there's all kinds of shit that I need to figure out and fix and change direction on if I want to live to be 100 years old or even 80 or even 75 or whatever and see my kids grow up, right? The point is, I wasn't motivated to be healthy because I believed the mindset, right, was there that I was. So I started changing that. And guess what? I started, taking walks every day. I play hockey. I do all kinds of stuff that I never did before. I'm much more active and I'm not perfect, like I said, but I'm doing a lot more. And what has happened is my motivation across the board went up. Now, this sounds like the most obvious thing you guys have ever heard, but I want to say it because it's so important. It's so important. Your physical health and your mental health and your emotional health and your spiritual health and your relational health and all the different kinds of health you want to put in there directly, do not mishear me, not indirectly, but directly affect your overall motivation in every other aspect of your life. You want to be able to write 5,000 words a day and you're only on 2,500, go take more walks, go push yourself harder. You're in a wheelchair and you can't take walks, there is something you can do. You can go do bicep curls. You can get your heart rate up somehow, folks. And I'm not talking about, drinking extra cup of coffee in the morning to get your heart rate up. That's cheating. The point is, you know where I'm going with this. I don't need to, belabor the point 1,000 times. Motivation is everything. And if you're stuck in that, if you're stuck in motivation, usually we can kind of tweak it by changing motivation in another area. So for me, my career started doing really well, better than it had been, I should say, and my fiction writing started getting easier because I changed my motivation in another area. So that's how this works. The third one, and I promise I'll be done after this. The third one is methods. We often get stuck in the method. Okay, we were taught and are acting on a process that is not effective. It's either no longer effective and we don't know it, or it was never effective and we just don't know any better. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm not calling anyone ignorant. I'm just saying that a lot of times what we think to be true about how to do a certain thing isn't true, or it doesn't work, or it stopped working along the way. Remember, Facebook ads used to be, used to target them by making lookalike audiences, and that used to work super well. And my own experience, that doesn't work as well anymore. Okay, nothing wrong with it. But the point is, if I'm using that as my method to grow my readership and the top of the funnel, all that stuff, well, okay, that may not be as effective as it used to be. And if I don't know that, if I don't know how to find the answers that I'm looking for, then my methods are going to be broken. Rambling a little bit, but those 3 M's: mindset, motivation, methods. We're often stuck in one or more areas. And when we're going to get into some of this back and forth about what's working for you and things like that, then I want you to kind of frame this in the sense of that, in the sense of like, which one of these areas is it that you're stuck in, if not all 3 of them, or 2 of them. Sorry, copy pasting again. Cool. So the last part of this, I said I would be done. I'm not. I got frameworks for days. If you're just joining us, this is the book I'm talking about. It's Limitless. It's not exactly about getting unstuck. It's more about making sure your brain is operating in full speed. But guess what? It's all related. But he gave us a framework of these 3 M's: mindset, motivation, and methods. These are the areas that we're often, in what he says, limited in. What I'm saying is stuck in. And what's really cool about this is you can kind of break these down in order. The reason I gave them to you in that order is this is often how we approach problems. We need the what first, and that's the mindset. That's the what of being unstuck. And then the motivation is the why. Why are we doing a certain thing? And you've heard me talk before about this, but that's the identity piece here. You need to identify as this thing over here that only you can identify. And that gives you the motivation. That builds the intention and the necessity. And then third, the methods are the how. How do you actually do all the specific tactical things? A lot of times when we're stuck in the methods, we know some tactical thing. We know HTML, but we don't know JavaScript. Whatever the case is, that's an easy one to change because it's just a matter of information. And there's this big scary thing called the internet that has all kinds of information. All right, guys. Cool. Hope that helps. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to work through some of these with you. I believe I've copied and pasted all of them, but maybe not. Let's see if I got Rose. Yeah. Okay. I did. Okay. So Rose, let's talk through this. So Rose says, the question is, where do I want to be 1 year from now in my author career? She wants to understand. Let me do this. Let me talk to you, Rose. You want to understand and run successful ads that will boost your income. Okay, great. What's worked well in the past in your author career? Consistency in writing. Knowing this is a business and getting the work done. Yeah. And then what's holding you back in your author career? Finding the ads course that you can help, that will help you truly understand and let you run successful ads. That's fair. Okay. So you believe you're stuck in ads. You're stuck because of ads. You want to boost your income. That's fair. And you believe a course is the thing that you need. Now, I promise I didn't tell her to put this here because you guys all know I've got an ads course about ready to drop on your beautiful faces. But this isn't about that because I didn't ask her to say that. And I don't know that my course will be the one that she needs. But here's the deal, Rose. The first thing I would do, if I'm coaching you and you're spending, billions of dollars, that's what I charge. What I'm going to do is ask you to get really clear about these answers. When you say you want to understand and run successful ads, we can understand what that, we get that. But when you say that will boost your income, I want to be clear. I want you to be clear about what that means. Okay. I want you to dig into how much you're talking about. When you say boost your income, are we talking percentage here? So that implying that you already know your baseline, you're making $1,000 a month and you want to increase it 20% to make, what is it, $1,200 a month from ads? And then also there's another implication here that's really, really, really important. This is what makes everybody mad in the 20 books group, right? Where people post like, oh my God, look at my income. And it's a big graph. They don't tell us their ad spend, right? So they're like, yeah, here's my income. And then I spend $1 million on ads to make, $50,000. And I'm, $950,000 in the hole. We don't want that, right? So the implication that I'm asking you to make is, and I'm not saying it's an implication that you know this, but I need you to actually know this. How much are you spending for those ads? So let's just break it down like this. You want to run successful ads. Okay, great. We can get what that means. The ads are working. There's a certain conversion rate. There's a certain click-through rate that we can get you to. Great. We can keep that 2% ROAS across the board. Whatever the numbers are, we can figure that out. But what do you mean when you say boost your income? Okay? And you don't have to tell us. So you have a dollar amount that you want to make after all costs have been subtracted. Perfect. You just need to know that. That's the first thing I'm going to dig into. And if no one else was on the call, I'd ask you specifically to put the number out there. I don't care what it is. But, you want to keep it close to your chest. That's totally fine. But you need to know the number. And you need to know the number of, well, look, I'm willing to spend X amount of money a month, a week, a day, whatever on ads. And I can probably, boost that by 10%, considering, cash flow and all that. The point is you need to know that, and once we have that, then we can get you to the point where you're unstuck. Okay, and you probably know this already, and that's why some of this is going to be reiterative. But I need to say it out loud because it's a lot. It's not enough to just say, well, I want to own all the money. Dole it out as I see appropriate. What's worked in the past in your author career? Now this is interesting. You said consistency in writing. Yes, of course, and knowing this is a business and getting the work done. Great. None of that is about ads. Okay, and I'm not pooping on this. Okay, I'm not saying that this is the wrong answers. What I'm pointing out for everyone watching and listening is that consistency in writing, guys, is not the secret to your future success. Laying down the law here, guys. Listen, consistency in writing, and what I mean by that is publishing books regularly. Doesn't have to be every week, doesn't have to be every month or even every year, but regularly, consistently, maybe it's one every 10 years. I don't care. Consistency in writing is not what's missing from your life. If you're here listening to me right now, the consistency in writing is the entry to the course, right? So if what I'm giving you is this massive course of how to be successful in an author career, module 1 isn't how to be consistent in writing. That's your application. It's a weird analogy, but it's making sense. Like I'm going to say, hey, are you being consistent in writing? Cool. Now you can join my course and we can learn about how to make ads. The reason I'm saying this is there are simply too many authors now doing whatever they want, publishing whenever they want, and calling themselves authors. And they are absolutely authors. So the thing that's going to differentiate you, who is a career author, somebody who is a business entrepreneurial minded author, is that you've already got the consistency on lock. Okay. I'm not telling you have to hit a daily word count, although that's very helpful and a good idea. I'm on a weekly word count. If I can hit a weekly word count, because every day's a little different, whatever. The point is, consistency in writing is par for the course. That's the barrier for entry. And if you don't have that, then you don't even worry about the ad stuff. Figure out that part first. Okay. So the second half of your answer, Rose, knowing this is a business, getting the work done. Yeah, absolutely. That's worked well in the past. It's always going to continue to work well. Third, last question. What is holding you back in your author career? You said finding the ads course that you can truly understand. So I'm going to ask follow-up questions here, and you can answer them here. I'm not going to interact with it anymore just because I want to get to the next ones. But I would ask questions like, well, what have you tried? What ads courses have you been in? And what specifically about them did you not like, or did you find that didn't work for you? Were they off-topic genre-wise? So I'm thinking in terms of Dawson, he writes thrillers and kind of a UK sort of flair. And obviously he's got a huge ads course that we all know and love. Was it that's not your genre? Like what is it about that course, if you haven't taken it, or if you have taken it, you didn't think worked, or you didn't understand it? Or is it just is it a method stuckness where you're like, look, there's just too much information and knowledge. I don't understand it. If that's the case, I would say an ads course probably won't help. It sounds like you might need a coach, somebody to just go back and forth and say, listen, here's what this means. Let me just break this. Let's do the ads course together, basically. And then every time you have a question, rather than trying to like rewatch the video or read the transcript, you got a person. You can just say, I don't understand this. This is too much. This is too complicated. The Facebook ads dashboard or the Amazon attribution, whatever it is, it's all just too freaking hard. And then that coach can go, it's okay. Look, one step at a time. Let me just show you this one thing. Anyway, I don't know if that's helpful or not. To me, the last one sounds like a method issue, and maybe I'm off base, but that's why I gave you the framework, because you're not going to get me every single time. You're going to have your own secret internal expert telling you where you're stuck, and that's why the framework helps, because often it is about one of those three things: mindset, motivation, or methods. All right, let me move on real quick. I'm going to answer Robin's stuff. She gave me all three. Robin, so first question: where do you want to be in your author career 1 year from this moment, August 31st, 2024? You want to have finished, I'm putting past perfect participles in there, have finished the 5-book arc of your current series and have 2 other books done in a new series. Okay, so 7 more books. You have a current series. I'm assuming that's the one that I know about, which is, I think you're done with 3 books. Anyway, have a steady income from these. The target dollar sign is low. I just want to have a predictable-ish income. Okay, so you're at that phase we all know and love early on for most of us, where the roller coaster is just going up and up and down, and the ups are up and the downs are way down, and it's just impossible to go get a bank loan based on that, because they're like, well, there's no consistency in income. So you're not really necessarily fighting the money issue. You're fighting the consistency issue is important, meaning the consistency in money. Am I making sense? Right? You're not really necessarily saying a year from now I need to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's some specific number. You're saying I just want it to be predictable, and I think that's a good move. I think that's wise, because once it's predictable, then we can pull different levers to get that predictable level to go up. Right? So we need more consistency in your income streams. And if the income stream right now is only just books, then that's where we need consistency. I'm rehashing. I'm kind of going over this because I know you already know this, Robin. You and I have talked about it offline a bit too. The secret to that is building up a readership as quickly as possible. And the secret to that is being consistent in messaging. Okay, so forget about the money for a second and go into how are you finding readers? How are you attracting them to your platform, to your stuff, your offerings, and getting them in, just into your world. And that can be as simple as being more active on social media. And I know you probably don't want to hear that, but it's free, right? It doesn't cost any money. And getting people to just slowly appreciate who you are and what you're doing, so that they can go find your mailing list and sign up. At that point, once you've got a list that's growing steadily, you're going to find that your income is going to stabilize. And this is obviously true for everybody, right? Once you get enough people into your business, recurring revenue streams start to get more stabilized, because you're, I'm assuming, consistently messaging to them. You're consistently writing to them. So we need to figure out how to get you people to sign up for your mailing list, right? That's kind of, I think, the answer there, if I'm coaching you on that. Second thing, what worked in the past? Meet Nick at a conference. That's my secret. I mean, I met myself at a conference. No, I'm just kidding. Overcome all the imposter syndrome to talk to him. Oh man, I know. I remember meeting you at a conference. It was great. You're so sweet. I love you. I think we met next to the cake machine, which is just even more serendipitous, because I like potatoes and French fries, and I do like cake. Yeah, so that worked in the past. So look, I don't know if this is a tongue-in-cheek answer or not. You're saying meet Nick at a conference. That's not the answer for everyone, but there's usually somebody that is very available. Look, we live in an industry, or we work and breathe in an industry where people are just people. And that is true across the board. I mean, even the celebrities that you've met, they're just people, right? They go to Home Depot and buy wood to fix something just like everyone else does. They're normies, right? I'm a normie, you're a normie, whatever. There's no celebrity, but especially so in the indie author community, because none of us went into this to be, famous or celebrities or have, impact and whatever. If that happened, it's all an accident. And so a lot of times, now there's a couple exceptions. There's some assholes, right? Of course, there's always going to be those people. But like, generally speaking, there's somebody that you think I really think I can hit it off with this person, and eventually maybe they mentor me a little bit, and it starts by going and meeting them at a conference. So yeah, there's obviously going to be an expense to go into a conference, but I cannot recommend enough going to conferences like 20 Books. That's in Vegas every year. NINC, which I'm going to in September. There's one here in town called Superstars, amazing conference where you're going to get a lot more intimate conversation and engagement with. Even though it's growing, it's still such a smaller kind of feel. But look, the point is, and this is what I think Robin's getting at, is what worked in the past for her, and this will work for you, is overcome. And I know there's a whole thing I could get into about how to do that. I'm not going to tell you right now how to overcome the imposter syndrome because it's hard. But get over yourself enough to book that flight, to get that hotel, to buy the conference fee, and get in there and just go out, get out of your comfort zone. It's going to hurt a little bit at first, but go find that person and just meet them. And don't set the expectation that you're going to love them, because sometimes people suck, right? But just go meet them. Go buy them a drink. Go buy them a beer, coffee, whatever it is, and say, hey, can I just talk to you for 10 minutes? I've always wanted to meet you. And it seems like you're a human. I'm a human. Let's just be humans together. What do you want to drink? And every single person I've met in this industry, I mean everyone, even the assholes, will say yes to that, okay? Third, so what are you stuck on? You're a slow writer. You can type fast, but you overanalyze scenes as you're going. You question gaping plot holes. Can't write them forward without worrying about them. You'd like to be able to write a book, more than one book a year, but you got to get rid of the self-doubt. Yes, you do. You got to get rid of the self-doubt, because I've read your books. I love your books. You're a damn good writer. I don't know what you need to be able to feel that when you're writing, but you need to feel that, because you should not have self-doubt. I know we all do. I get it, but I'm just saying, get over that, because you don't need to have self-doubt. Your books are good. The slow writing thing, like I said, you and I have talked offline and stuff, so maybe I'm not answering you specifically, but anyone else who's struggling with this, I recommend dictation. Okay, and you all know I've got a course on it, of course, right? So I'm not telling you to go buy it, but it is a good course. It's $35. Right? You can usually find a coupon code laying around somewhere to get it even cheaper. But the point is, this course about dictation, it's not just the method. It's a lot of the mindset and motivation into this in it as well. Because what I realized when I started dictating, I started dictating 10 years ago, and I tried to make it work, and it didn't, because I was just talking into a microphone. There was no method. It was just sort of trying that, didn't work. I would give it up, and then I'd come back to it another time and say, okay, this time I'm going to try this different thing. And I had to do that numerous times until I iterated into what I'm doing now, which is very personal to me. I'll give it to you all in the course and show it to you. But the point is, there is some way to do it that will work for you. And it probably won't look a lot like mine, or maybe it'll look similar to mine, but not exact. We're at a point now, we're at a crossroads where a lot of the stuff that we had humans do, like editing down text after we've dictated, can be done by AI, and it's just as good, if not better, and it's a lot cheaper. And while I'm not ever saying that we should cut out humans as people who work for us, I am saying that guys, take advantage of the technology we have. That has been a game changer for me in dictation. So if you are thinking dictation is just, I don't know, just tried it, doesn't work for me, try it again. Go get my course. If you can't afford it, just send me an email, guys. I'll give you the course. I don't care. I want to get you the information. That would be my recommendation, Robin. Is I know there's some romance around using our little fingies to type, and I'm not ever trying to take that away from people, but I'm looking long term. I know I've got arthritis coming down the pike, so for me, it was like, hey, let me just figure this out. Let me get this to work, because I can still be a writer. I don't have to actually type. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Randall Wood, what's up, buddy? I always feel like I owe you like 50 emails, because we're always talking about business stuff, and I'm so bad about it. I built an email company, and I hate emails. Go figure. Where do you want to be in a year? You want to be back where you were 2 years ago? Okay, we're getting deep here, folks. You ready? Situation is unique. I had a writing career going. Yeah, you did. Yep. And I thought you still did. You ran into a series of roadblocks in a project that resulted in a 3-year gap. I know what that project is. Started a company that took all your time, and you're looking to restart that writing career and keep the business going. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a big one. So you're stuck in a little bit of method. At first blush, I believe it's a little bit of method. How do I do two big things? Build fiction career like I had before, and run a business. Obviously, you don't want either one of those things to suffer, although it sounds like one is. I'm in the same boat, man, and very much so. So I think our situation is uncommon, but it's not. You're not. It's not unique, and I don't mean to poop on your beauty and being a snowflake. You're very special, but you're not the only person going through this. I am actually in the trenches with this. How do I write when I'm doing this? When I have an hour to sit in front of a camera, or I can sit in front of a microphone and dictate. You got to make that choice, and the way I've done this is to start putting on the calendar everything I'm doing. Okay? Pop open the calendar right now and you look at it, and what are you seeing? You're seeing your flights. You're seeing, I put all the meals that I cook because I do all the cooking for the family. Those are on the calendar for me. And literally everything that I'm doing, if I have to go somewhere, doctor's appointment, dentist appointment yesterday, I can walk to it, but I didn't schedule an extra hour to walk. So I have to drive. So everything, all that little stuff is there. This is the obvious part, okay? What I'm about to say is the less obvious part, and this is the mindset stuckness that I think you might be running into. You need to start calendaring who you want to become rather than what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to say that again. It's pretty important. You and I, and anyone else that might be in this same struggle, need to start calendaring who you want to become, not what you want to do. When you start putting things on the calendar that fit into that, it makes it a lot easier to say no to certain tasks, projects, and events, whatever's on the calendar, that don't get you to who you want to be. Now, there's a lot here, and we don't have time to unpack it all, but go listen to my last one on your next big move, because I'm talking about mountains here. If you don't know, like right now, this is who I want to be, and you're very specific about it, you need to identify that mountain. You need to go listen to Neil Gaiman's commencement speech, do the next big move talk that I gave last week. But that's it. That's the secret, right? It's not easy, and it's not supposed to be, because then everybody would do it. Everybody would run a business and be a fiction author and kill it. It's not easy. One of those things is immensely challenging, as you know, and we're trying to do two of them. But it's possible. Okay, it's possible. Last thing you said, what worked back then is now antiquated. I need a new plan that works with the business I have to grow and run. Time management and focus on only the things that work is what's needed now. Nick's marketing video, The Buckets, hit this issue head on. If you're lazy and you don't want to go watch the video, yeah, so my buckets are social media, advertising, and email marketing. If you come at me with, hey, I'm going to do these billboard ads, I'm going to be like, that's great. I'd love to test billboard ads. Actually did. I built a whole website to advertise audiobooks to truckers and road trip people through a thing called Blip advertising, which is like those digital billboards. Anyway, point is, if you're coming at me with, I'm going to test billboard ads, I'm going to come back at you with, you got to have those three things on the back burner, meaning running all the time. Social media, advertising, email marketing. If you have those three things, then you can start exploring the other ones. But chances are you're weak in one or more of those areas. Randall, yeah, absolutely, man. You got to focus on those buckets. You also, because of your more unique issue, you need to look at ways to make that that marketing as automated as possible. And I know that sounds obvious, but because things have changed in the industry, we have more tools that can do this. And I'll just go through a bunch really, really quickly, because I want to get to the next one here. Ben, the commencement speech is Neil Gaiman's commencement speech, commencement address, or he gave a graduation speech. Can't even remember the university, but he was like Vassar or something, I don't know. But he's talking about moving closer to the mountain. Essentially, you know what the mountain is, and if you don't, you should. And anything that you say yes or no to needs to either bring you closer to that mountain, or if you say no to it, it's because it's going to bring you away from that mountain or keep you in the same place, which is tricky. Anyway, Randall, so what are the ways I'm doing this in advertising, just to be specific here, tools? Facebook is a giant black box algorithm, and it works well. So let it do the work for you. When you're building ads and testing ads, don't spend time targeting, getting really deep in niche into, Stephen King and James Patterson, and then narrowing by people who read on Kindle. Don't do any of that crap. Put all that stuff in a text description, text, whatever it's called on Facebook ads. So things like that. Like I can go through and run ads for Book Career in a Year and ads for my fiction side and anything else I'm doing for Drafted Digital in the span of an hour a week. Okay, and that's, if we can't find an extra hour a week to run ads for 3 separate companies, we're doing something wrong. So I have, an hour a week set aside. If you get good at this with just fiction, you can do, half an hour a week. But the point is, it shouldn't take that long to launch, measure, track results, all that stuff. It should all be able to be done in the span of, less than an hour a week. And I believe that's a good amount to spend. If you're spending more than that, you're probably not as efficient as you need to be. If you're spending less than that, then it's either because you've gotten really efficient or you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry. It's all I wish I could get into this and have time to unpack exactly. But the point is, you mentioned, not having enough time to build the fiction career back up, and because you're running this company and it's a great company. Figure out ways to make that more efficient. One example I just gave is not targeting on Facebook, letting Facebook do the targeting for you. And you do that through like text descriptions. Testing should be faster. Use dynamic creatives. When you set up an ad set, check the box for dynamic creative, and that will let you put 6 to 10 images, or I don't know how many, that it will test for you, and it will just do iterations. This image plus this, one of 4 text things plus one of 4 headlines. And I don't know how many iterations, at 128 different options that it'll test for you, and it'll spit out the answer. And then you take that and you put it in a scaling ad set the next week and you scale it up. Very, very much oversimplifying. I know that. I apologize. But to get all that stuff done, you can use tools like ChatGPT to write those ads. Or write it one time and say, hey, ChatGPT, I need 6 different versions of this. Whenever I do a video ad, I record the video 10 times because I never know what's going to work. And even if I do a perfect video, people are weird and they click on weird stuff. So I'll run 10 of them at a time. And it's things like that you can kind of build into your day. Because if you want to be a successful author and you want to be a successful entrepreneur and business owner, that has to appear in your calendar in that way. Hope that helps. Good stuff though, guys. Yeah, good stuff. This is cool. Paul, let's talk about Paul. Paul Ardouin. The French one. Where do you want to be in your author career 1 year from now? 50% of the way to replacing my day job income. Cool. Just like we talked about with Rose, there's some implications here about numbers, and those numbers. That's good because I'm always going to ask that first. Guys, the point is you got to be real specific about this stuff. You're answering this question. I know that my question was open-ended. Yours doesn't get to be open-ended because it's yours. It's you. And so, Paul, while you didn't put it here, it's good that you know that. You got to know those numbers. You got to know, okay, well, what is 50% of your day job income? And I'm assuming that means you built in, taxes because you're paying somewhere around 15% before with the day job income. If you're a W-2 salary, 14.9%, and then they pay the other 14%. You're going to have to pay both of it now because you're self-employed if you replace that income. So there's ways around it. I'm not a tax guy, but I've been in the trenches with that plenty of times. What's worked well for you in the past is your first mystery series. You guys still seeing me? My video cut out over here, but I'm going to reload the page and hopefully I'm still on, live and kicking. If not, we'll post the recording later. Yeah, cool. Here we are. What's worked well for you in the past? Your first mystery series got you 2 BookBub featured deals. You had free Booksy. I can't remember what FFIS is. Whatever. First BookBub featured deal made 100% of your day job income the month of. The second made 2/3. It's tapered off to 20% of the day job income. What do you mean by that? Is that every time you get a BookBub featured deal, now it's only 20% of your day job income? Sorry, just clarify that for me. Or do you mean that generally, like your mystery series is about 20% of your day job income? Free first in series, FFI. That's right. Okay. I was like, I don't recognize that. Can't remember what it is. So what's holding you back at the highest level, of course, is book sales. Yep. Okay. Getting my income replaced probably requires 6 books a year, and I'm only writing 3. Ads that actually, okay, we'll talk about that. Ads that actually work. The lack of ads that actually work, I'm guessing. Money to create audiobooks, obviously lack of money to create audiobooks, maybe other marketing strategies because free first in series, even though my current marketing strategy is working less well than it did from 2020 to 2022, I don't want to do something else that might work even less well. Okay, so you think based on the numbers that you're bringing in right now, if you had 6 books a year coming out, doubling your output, that would that would get you there. So that's easy math. I see how you got there. You want to place 50% of your day job income. You're here now. So if you double it by written book, you'll get there. The challenge with that, or the problem I see with that, is that that's exactly the math that I did when I first went full time. I thought, well, shoot, if I don't have the day job, then I'm just going to be able to write twice as fast and publish twice as fast. And all day I'll be sitting at the beach drinking pina coladas and dreaming about my novels, and it'll be wonderful. And then the first day I did that, I got crippling anxiety and had a panic attack and cried and wanted to kill myself. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen to you. But what I realized very quickly was that I couldn't actually spend 8 hours a day writing, or even 4 hours a day writing. I really had already tapped out how many hours a day I could write. Now I've hacked that and tweaked that since then because I started dictating. But what I want you to hear is the math, guys, is never going to be as clean and simple as it is. And I know you know that, Paul, but it's always a good reminder. I'm doing 3 books. If I do 6, my problem's solved. Maybe, perhaps. Chances are not, though, and you need to be prepared for that, right? So the way to do that is figure out ads to actually work. We talked about that a little bit already. Money to create audiobooks. Now, this is interesting because I don't believe you need money to create audiobooks. You can do a royalty share, right? You know about those, the 50-50 split with a narrator. Go check out Findaway Voices. I think they still have their marketplace up, even though they got bought by Spotify. Reach out to the big players, Tantor, Podium, and what's the other one I'm thinking of? There's another big one that produce audiobooks, and they work really well with indies. I've signed a deal. I just signed a deal with my Harvey Bennett series with them. Traditional style contract where they give you in advance and then they pay for all the production, and they just, they give me a smaller royalty obviously, but they give me a royalty after that. You can also look into AI. So that costs a little bit of money. I use 11 Labs, and I was working with them to get this off the ground. I mean, I didn't do much, but I was testing their services and providing some beta support to do audiobooks for fiction narration. It's come a long way, and it's only getting better. If you look into the ethical and moral concerns and that you're okay with it, then that becomes a very affordable way to have a very good audiobook made for your books. And I can tell you right now, my readers love having that option to buy an audiobook directly from me, delivered through BookFunnel, so they have it right in the app, alongside all of their ebooks they've purchased from me over the years. And they can listen to it on the. They don't need the Audible app. They don't need to have an account. And yeah, they know it's AI, but they spent $5 on it instead of $25. So there's options like that for audiobooks. And you've heard me say it before, guys. Audio is only getting bigger and more important. And it's the Wild West right now. Do not sign any exclusive arrangements with audio, meaning don't go directly to Audible through ACX and click that exclusive arrangement box. Even though you're going to get more money from each sale, they're not going to do anything for you in the terms of marketing. And people are really, really, really quickly jumping ship, going to places like Spotify and Findaway, other audiobooks Unleashed, I think is whatever it is. Audiobooks are big. People are finding new stores, new options to hear things are popping up all the time. So get into audio, Paul, but don't invest a ton of money in it because you don't need to. And talk to me later if you need more than that. Maybe other marketing strategies besides free first in series. Yeah, look, free first in series is still working really well in romance and sometimes like the sci-fi space opera-ish. But even then, I always urge authors to get away from the free model. Not because I believe it hurts the rest of us, but look, it's a race to the bottom. And if you're starting at the bottom, you could argue the only way to go is up. But I would say you can't really do anything in terms of, price promotions and pulling those levers. So try to get away from free first in series. Mystery readers are happy to spend money on books. Okay. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit of marketing grease and elbow grease, but you can make it work. So yeah, try to get away from free first in series because I don't think it's a necessary marketing tactic. It works, it can work. It's not necessary. Going over to your comment over here on Facebook, if you do 6 books a year, you can also get more book ones. I see what you're saying. So new series you're launching too. Yeah, I took this strategy myself, but I didn't do free first in series. I started launching new series, and I just decided, instead of deciding for my readers what I would write next, like what I'd follow up on, I would let them decide based on sales. So I launched 6 new series this year, or over the last year, and I was surprised by what my readers bought and read and consumed. All of them sold well enough that I'll continue the series. But I'm going to focus on a series over here that I thought was like, oh, this is kind of, whatever. I'll release it. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, the one over here, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the series that they're going to love. They're just like, yeah, it's cool. Great. Thanks. So I want more of this book. So I'm kind of letting them decide for me, which can be a marketing tactic in and of itself. If you've got a decent sized list, you can literally ask people, what do you want more of? And then focus on that. And especially when you don't have free first in series, the answers you'll get back will be much more usable because everybody will pick something up for free, but not everyone will vote with their dollars, right? So hope that helps, man. There's a lot here. I know there's a lot here. There's a lot going on. I'm going to try to answer one more. I think we have time for one more real quick before I have to call it. Got that hot date at the pool, like I said. Ben Pavlov, what's up, man? Welcome in. I think this is the first time I've seen you in these. Maybe last week. I can't remember. Where do you want to be in 1 year? You want to have multiple YA, young adult fiction series. Currently, you've got 1 adult novel and 3 YA nonfiction books. Interesting. Okay. I'm not going to say you're spreading yourself thin, but there's definitely, you're doing a lot. There's a lot of, and there's not a whole lot of crossover between not only adult and YA, but adult to YA nonfiction. So cool. Great. Good for you. But yeah, I like that you've got a goal here that you want to have multiple YA fiction series. The reason that I like that is you know what you need to do to get multiple YA fiction series out, right? You got to write them. So we'll dig into that. For your nonfiction books, your podcast drove sales before you stopped doing it. So you started up again. Good. For your fiction, Writing Into the Dark helped me write my only novel. You talking Dean Wesley Smith, Writing Into the Dark? Because great. That works. That's awesome. Also recommend James Scott Bell in the same breath. Whenever I think Dean Wesley Smith, I also think the other 3 named guy who talks about writing. If you need some more writing inspiration, motivation, help, whatever, James, what did I say his name was? The James guy. He's got so many nonfiction books about how to write, and they're very similar in some ways, structured like Dean Wesley Smith. What's holding you back is learning to write YA fiction that you don't read. I want to talk about that a little bit because this is what caught my eye. Why do you want to write it if you don't read it? And then I guess the follow-up question is, have you started reading it? I don't ever believe anyone should be writing something that they don't read. Period. End of story. I don't think that it means that you're not going to do well at it. I think you're a good writer and you could knock one out of the park, but I believe it would be an accident. If you are not consuming the stuff that you're creating, you're never going to be able to create it as well as someone who is. All right? I don't write sci-fi because I don't read enough sci-fi. I love sci-fi, but I only read 1 or 2 a year, and I'm reading thrillers when I'm not reading sci-fi. So guess what I write? I write thrillers. And I mean this with respect, Ben. I'm not saying that you're a bad writer at all. There's too many people doing what we're doing now. It's too competitive, and I don't usually talk about other authors as competition, but in this case, you're trying to compete with guys who all they do is read and write young adult fiction. So if you're not reading it, you got to start. You got to get in there. You got to jump in head first. Hope that helps. I hope that's useful to you. I don't want to sound too obvious, but that's all you gave me here. So I don't know how much more into it you want to go, but. Look, coming up on the top of the hour, I know there's more. Thank you guys for doing this. I'll try to jump back in and give some responses to those that I didn't get to. Was this good? Was this helpful for you guys? I mean, I'm not the guy with all the answers, but I'm working through this stuff on my own in this framework I gave you with mindset, motivation, and methods. So I wanted to give you that and then try to unpack it live, kind of put myself on the spot, right? Like how would I coach through this? Because I do believe that there's some answers to be found in the self-reflection and like kind of self-awareness of going through the what, the why, the how, mindset, motivation, methods in our own stickiness. So thanks for being here, Dreaming True. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Joan, thank you. We can do this more often. I definitely like to bring you stuff that I'm like, hey, here's 45 minutes on this thing. Or half an hour on this thing, whatever. But yeah, I think this is kind of the model of group coaching I like to do, even though I don't get to dig in as much as I'd like with individual stuff. It kind of gives you guys a taste of like how I'm thinking through it, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you. Hopefully this served you. Thanks for the comments. And I'm not doing that so I can get my shits and giggles from you guys. I truly mean, like, if this didn't help, let me know. I want to provide you with things that are helpful. I started a company called BookCareerInAYear, and this is it. You want to get to where you are in a year? This is how I would approach it. Not saying it's helpful, but I hope it is. And if it's not, let's fix it so that I can be helpful to you. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will try to get back after my pool date and answer some questions or any of the other 3 questions you guys answered later today, later this week. I'll pin this as usual. So if you're in the group, go check it out. You'll be able to watch it again. If you're not in the group and you're watching on YouTube, what are you doing, slacker? Get over there. That's where all the fun is. I know you're leaving comments on YouTube like, no one's paying attention to me. No, we're not, because we're in Facebook, because Facebook's cool. No, I'm just kidding. We're in the Facebook group. Go join the Facebook group, BookCareerInAYear.com. You can, that's the website, sorry. You can go to the website. Free email courses there. There's paid courses. There's all kinds of fun stuff. I'll have a coaching tab up soon if you're interested in getting a little bit more, going a little deeper. I'm probably going to offer group coaching in some capacity, so it'll look a little bit like this, but far more structured and weekly, kind of ongoing, with homework and worksheets and all the fun stuff there. So stay tuned. I've got a lot coming. I've got a lot going on, but it's all in the name of getting your book to the world, because the world needs more books and the world needs better books. So that's what we do here. Thanks, guys. We'll talk next week. Take care.